Hey, what is going on, guys? This video today is going to be a discussion on why I personally believe Fortnite will never quote-unquote die. There are a lot of people out there who, for whatever reason, are basically preying on Fortnite's downfall. Basically, every time a new, somewhat popular video game comes out, you hear this small minority of people say that said game is going to kill Fortnite. And now that we're heading into fall, which historically is the most popular season for new video game releases, you're beginning to hear it more and more. In just the last few weeks, I've seen that NBA 2K19 is going to kill Fortnite, the new BR mode in Call of Duty is going to kill Fortnite, and finally Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to kill Fortnite. And trust me, you'll probably continue to hear similar sayings to those anytime a new major game is released. However, as the title of this video suggests, due to a variety of reasons, I feel really strongly that Fortnite is nowhere near being dead, and that no video game will ever truly kill Fortnite. So without further ado, let's get right into exactly why that is. So the first reason that I feel so strongly that Fortnite is here to stay for the foreseeable future is due to the overall accessibility of the game. And when I say that, I'm referring to two different aspects of accessibility. The fact that the game is totally free to play, and also the fact that the game is available to be played on literally every platform that allows you to play video games. Let's start with the fact that Fortnite is free to play. When I say free to play, I mean 100% totally free to play. I'm not talking about those freemium games where it's free to download the app or the game, but if you want to be on a level playing field as everybody else playing the game, you're gonna eventually have to drop some amount of money, or else your progress is gonna be stopped in some form. A good example of this is 2K19. Even though the game is $60 at release, let's just pretend for a second that it would be free to play, $0 to download 2K19. Well, that's awesome, and I guess you could play online head-to-head and maybe My Career if you just wanted to play it for fun, but any other competitive multiplayer game mode like Park or Pro-Am or My Team, if you want to be competitive at all, you would have to eventually drop money. With Fortnite, however, this is definitely not the case. The game costs $0 to download, and even if you play it every single day for 5 years straight, you could literally never spend a dime and you would never be put at any kind of competitive disadvantage. I believe that this is the number one thing that not only makes it so that more and more people continue to download Fortnite, but also one of the biggest reasons why the player base is overall so loyal to the game. I'm sure so many of you guys learned about Fortnite simply by word of mouth. My friend first told me about Fortnite all the way back in September, and his main pitch to me was that it was a fun game that was most importantly free to download and play. I'm gonna be honest, if it was priced at $60 or $30 or even just $10, I probably wouldn't have downloaded it. And I'm sure that so many other people would agree with that same sentiment. That is something Fortnite has that I truly believe no other video game in the near future at least will be able to offer. Along with that, I really don't think there's another major video game out there that has a sizable player base on literally every major gaming console the way that Fortnite does. Xbox, PC, PS4, Switch, and even mobile. You have the games like Call of Duty, which are really big on PS4 and Xbox, and I guess with the new BR game mode is kind of going to become bigger on PC, but I don't even think Call of Duty comes out on Switch, and it definitely doesn't on mobile to my knowledge at least. And along the same lines, you have the games that are just absolutely huge on PC. The StarCraft, the Counter-Strike, the World of Warcraft, League of Legends games. However, they're not even on any of the consoles, let alone mobile or Switch, so it's really limiting the amount of players that can play your game and limiting the specific demographic that you're targeting. With Fortnite, it doesn't matter if you're a 9-year-old kid trying to play the game on iPhone or a 30-year-old man with a full-time job playing the game on a $10,000 gaming PC. You will always have access and the ability to play Fortnite whenever you want, wherever you want. And that's simply something that I really believe no other video game offers. Another thing that I believe Fortnite does better than every single game that it's similar to is being able to constantly update and improve the game. The first part of this are the weekly updates, which include balance changes, weapon updates, as well as other cool stuff from time to time that's included in those changes. I believe that one of the biggest downfalls of a lot of major games that are similar to Fortnite is simply not making the changes that players actually want. Something I always say to my friend about game developers is that they are some of the most confusing people on the planet. To design a game that is anywhere near as in-depth as Fortnite is, you need to be just unbelievably smart. However, for some odd reason, it always seems like game developers struggle to understand what needs to be changed about the game that they created. Take a series like Call of Duty, for example. I loved the Call of Duty games from 5 to 8 years ago. The games like Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops 1, the golden age of Call of Duty. Those games were just so ahead of their time when it came to things like graphics and just in general how smooth the games felt to play. However, those same games had major flaws that were simply never addressed. Things like one-man army danger close noob tubes, the commando perk, dead man's hand, akimbo FMG9s. I could go on and on from a variety of different Call of Duty games that many people consider to be the greatest games of all time, even with those major issues. The games were so incredible, but at the same time they could be very frustrating to play because for some reason those things were never patched or just straight up removed from the game. And for Call of Duty, it ended up getting even worse. I think I've told this story before on my channel, but when the Call of Duty developers first introduced exo movement and jetpacks to their game, literally everybody hated it and begged them to remove it. Not only did they never change it in the original exo movement game they released, but despite all the hate from the community, they released, I believe, 2 other games with the same awful advanced movement that literally everybody hated. And it's the decisions like those that eventually opened the door for Fortnite and a bunch of other games that compete with Call of Duty nowadays. I'm not going to say that Epic is the perfect company when it comes to balancing, because they have made their fair share of mistakes and just overall questionable decisions. But like you saw a few days ago with the removal of the drum gun, you can tell that they are actively listening to feedback from the community and trying to build their game around it. Another genius thing that Fortnite does that puts them ahead of all of the other BR games that they compete with is the fact that they constantly update their map. This may not seem like a huge deal, but when you compare it to games like PUBG and H1Z1, you see that it really is. I'm pretty sure it was PUBG, but I remember when the game was released, it was really awesome and everybody loved it. It was this revolutionary Battle Royale game, but after a few months, the game got really stale because it was the exact same map over and over again every single game. It eventually became such a problem that they had to release a second map into the game. That was a very polarizing change, which a lot of people really didn't like. So Fortnite saw this problem on games like PUBG and H1 and came up with a genius solution. They were going to gradually update the map season by season, week by week, month by month, and you see that all the time now inside of Fortnite. At the beginning of every season, there's going to be at least 3 or 4 points of interest which are just totally overhauled. And every few weeks, they do little changes inside of the game. You just saw it a few days ago with Dusty Diner. A few weeks before that, there was a change to Tomato Town, and along with all of those things, there are also some smaller changes on the map, like the constantly changing building inside of Tilted, which has gone from pallets to now like a Bass Pro Shop type building. This is genius. It keeps the game fresh for all of the players trying to play it, while also making it so that if you take a month or 2-month break from the game, you don't come back and feel like you're playing a totally different map. It is revolutionary, it is genius, and it is another thing that puts Fortnite way ahead of their competition. The final aspect of Fortnite that I want to discuss in this video today is the fact that the game can be played in so many different ways. I hate to bring up COD again, but it makes for a good comparison for this topic. When you hop into, say, a domination game in Call of Duty, it is a very structured experience. You capture the flags and prevent the enemies from capturing flags by killing them. There's not really any room for fun or unique playstyles inside of those main objectives. On the other end of the spectrum, you have a game like GTA or Minecraft, which is basically just a totally open world. The issue with that is, eventually you hit a point when playing the game where you feel like there really isn't anything important or some kind of objective to shoot for. Yeah, you can try to get a ton of money or a ton of diamonds, but that definitely gets repetitive eventually unless you're a hardcore fan. With Fortnite, you have the best of both worlds. It's funny because if you were to ask me to combine two different games that would best describe Fortnite, I would probably choose a combination of Call of Duty and GTA. When you play Fortnite, you could land in like 20 different towns. You could go for super high kill games, you could go hard for the win, you can play with friends and just goof around, you could try all the fun new items in the game, you could build a sky base and try to win by doing that. I'm not really articulating this point super well, but basically what I'm trying to say is Fortnite has so many different play styles and in-game objectives inside of the actual game itself that it is just an endless experience. You could do something different every single game you play and still have a super enjoyable experience while doing it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to leave me a comment down in the comment section below. Let me know the thing you most enjoy about Fortnite. Is it playing with friends, getting new skins, going for wins, or something else? Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.